Hello every single buddy, welcome back, welcome finally back to Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards Remake. And so I know it's been a good while since the last video on this game, but I figured I'd come back to it today just because I wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to be carrying on work on it. And so yeah, the project isn't dead yet. I figured that since university's over now, I have a lot more time just to dedicate to this game, and so that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. You know, it's too, I think I've gone too far in this game, you know, to let it go now, and so expect quite a few more devlog videos than I've been doing before on it for, I'd say, the next 3 months at least. And so yeah, with all that backstory and lore out of the way, I guess we'll get started. And so the main thing I've been working on coming back to this project is the NPCs, and so with that being said, let's jump right into it. And so yeah, we got our friend Tristan over here, and he's from the original Game Boy Advance, and I was very surprised on how well these sprites turned out in terms of their resolution and how they looked. And so we got our guy Tristan here, and you can actually go to and speak to him now. So that was working on for the past week, is just figuring out how to speak to these people. And so you can go and speak to Tristan, and he'll come up and he'll tell you some information, and I'll show you some of the code behind it later, but he'll go and tell you your information, and then you can cycle through his dialogue by pressing the R button. And then here he's just telling you, if you want to duel somebody, you just press the R button, and then once it's exhausted his dialogue for that section of the game, then it'll immediately go back off, and then you can go and speak to him again. And if you're immediately to walk up to him and then press R, what will happen is that'll trigger a duel. Now, I plan to have some dialogue before then, you know, just saying like, oh yeah, let's duel, or sure, I accept your duel, or something like that. But so far for now, it's literally that it just starts in the duel. And so yeah, as you can see here, starts on the menu, and eventually it loads straight into the duel. But this is eventually what you'd see, is just this menu immediately. But yeah, go straight into the duel. And if you haven't seen my previous devlogs, I talk all about how these cards and how this whole dueling system works. It was quite a while ago now actually, but yeah, that's how the whole thing works. And so if you want to know more about this section of the game, check out the other devlogs, because I go in depth on how I went about doing this and how I figured out how to make a Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of system. It's not done yet, but it's about 40% done, I'd say. And so yeah, that's that whole thing. But again, if we're to just go back into the game and then go back to the clock tower, and also my previous devlogs show the whole game so far, the entire environment for the game. The whole game's been made in terms of its environment, and so the previous ones just talk about how I made that step by step. And so yeah, moving on from there though, the thing that I've been working on coming back, apart from Tristan, is also Grandpa, Solomon Moto as it were. I've done him, and I've also done Bonds so far. I'm going to keep making them until I've made all the characters, and then I'm going to have different sections dedicated to their dialogue at certain sections of the game, if that makes sense. And so I've got Solomon Moto over here, and he's basically saying the same thing, you know, just saying that you can press R to challenge other duelists. And yeah, that's what it is. And so go to him again, press R, go straight into the duel. And so the way I wanted the dialogue is so that, you know, it matched the game up until the point where there isn't any translation issues, you know. Because in this game, if you didn't know it, there's like some really weird translation issues to do with like how they say things. And so apart from that, I'll be keeping true to how the dialogue is in the original game. And so yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there, just in case you're wondering where the dialogue came from. But yeah, this is Bonds. This is the last guy that I made, and you can go and speak to him too. And he comes up and says, what do you want? If you don't want anything, you're in the way. And then at that point, you can go and ask him for a duel, and then he'd better locate a card, I think. And yeah, another feature I did is that they actually turn around to face you. So say if he's turning this way, and then if you go up to him and then press E to talk, then he'll actually turn around and face you, And so I thought that was a pretty interesting thing that he had going on there. I'll have to fix that. I think I've picked the wrong sprite direction there for that one, since he faces away from you when he speaks there. Yeah, I know what I've done. I just need to flip them round so that he faces up when you're over here and down when you're over here. It'll take 2 seconds. But yeah, that's pretty much the progress that I've been making today. I'm really happy with that, and it doesn't seem like much, but man, it's just really quite a bit to think about and to kind of get working all in one. And so yeah, I think now what I'll probably do is show you some of the blueprint that I got behind this. So if I go up into here, and then if I'm to go into the NPCs, what we got over here is just all of the different characters that I've got so far. So you got Tristan, Bond, and then the parent, which is the, imagine like the blueprint that does all the heavy lifting, right? And then all these sprites just have like the bits of information that make them unique from a generic character, let's say. And so if I'm going to go into this blueprint, I'll show you what I mean. This is the kind of thing I've got for the directions to face the player. And so as you can see, this is the kind of thing where it kind of decides whether they can duel them, whether they can face them or talk to them, you know, and whether they can have their dialogue open to them, you know. This is the thing that shows up the widget that shows their image in their text box. Got the R to start a duel, advance dialogue. I had that on Grandpa before, that Solomon Moto, just because it took a while to figure out what I wanted to do. But yeah, that's to advance the dialogue. And then over here is enable input, which is a thing you have to do for all blueprints, which is really annoying. Enable keyboard input, right? And so that's the character turning towards you. And then from there, I just did unique things per character. So we had like, say, Tristan, for example. This is a child of that blueprint that I just showed you, where it sets him as Tristan so that they know his dialogue and what his picture should be, right? And that's basically all there is with that. And then with the widget, the UI, I believe that's in here. Yeah, and then this is them talking, right? So yeah, and so this is the base kind of thing that they'd have, and then in here is where it'll kind of have the code to change it depending on which character you're talking to. And so yeah, got all their text rows over here, and this is where you'd advance the dialogue over. And so I'll be expanding this massively as the dialogue keeps going and going and going. But this is what we got so far. And then over here we got the set flipbook, the set pixel animation art, right, where you can go and select which one you're talking to and whatnot. And so yeah, that's basically what I've been doing, and a lot of today's just been figuring out, okay, how do I actually make this that wouldn't require me to make, like, 30 different blueprints for 30 different characters? How do I make it just within 1 or 2 blueprints and make it so that it's all transferable, and so I can just go and set all their names and all their dialogue and all their pictures in one? And it took a very long time, but I eventually figured out a really clean and tidy and like a clean code way of doing it, right? And so yeah, just to show you a bit more behind the code, this is some of the characters that I've got set up. Right over here, we've got all the named portrait characters in the game. So we got Grandpa, Yugi, Yami, Yugi, Joey, Taya, Odeon, Yami, Bakura, Bandit, Keith, Rare Hunter, Weevil, Underwood, Bonds, and May. And then, as you can see here, we've got all the dialogue that they've got so far. And so yeah, that's pretty much it for what I've been doing. Most of the other stuff is just for testing. Yeah, and again, this is just for, I believe, getting the flip books up the pixel art, right, so it can show the right character, which is a real pain to do, but eventually we got there. And so yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing for this devlog. I think from now on I'll be seeing if I can again be doing it every few weeks, you know, every month. Whenever I make a huge amount of progress, I'll probably just make a new one. Before I did it bi-monthly, but from here I might just make it whenever I make big progress in the game kind of update, because that'll be a bit more fun and spontaneous to do, right? And so yeah, that's basically what it is. And so I think with all that being said, I'll leave it off there. And one thing I'd want to mention before I leave it off is that I'll be active in the Discord. I'll put a Discord link in the description if you'd like to join us and then see the progress onto the game. I'm going to be posting a lot more on there on different parts of the game that I've been making, and yeah, hopefully we can bring this Discord back from the dead, because it's been dead for about 3-4 months now. So it'll be good to be able to get some people back on there. And so if you are interested in joining our Discord, then I will leave a link in the description, and I will try and remember to update it weekly since it expires every week, which is really annoying. But yeah, with all that being said, I think I'll leave it off there. And so as always, thanks for watching and thanks for sticking by me through this whole massive crazy journey. But with all that being said, I reckon I'll see you in the next one.